I really wanted to take a good look at him and try to put out a documentary following, what happened to him over the next few years. And who would have thought that so much would happen? But the result is the film Wei Wei, Never Sorry. He's an incredibly charismatic personality. He has a great sense of humor. He, he speaks very boldly and talks a lot about current events and politics and history and a lot of universal values and issues. But at the same time, he can be very spontaneous and has a lot of energy and life. And it was kind of those qualities, maybe most of all, that made me feel like, there should be a movie. There could be a 90-minute film about this man. I think the most dramatic and intense thing that happened during the course of this film was, of course, his detention, which I think for me, even though at the time I was already working on editing the film in New York, and of course then we had to film more because there was these very important breaking events that were happening, I think emotionally that was probably actually the strongest emotions of the whole process. Our trips filming in Chengdu when he was going to police stations were also, I think, for me in terms of being in person filming him, those were probably the tensest moments.
According to Chinese state media, I was released on bail after confessing to tax evasion and
Le célèbre dissident chinois Wei Wei a été libéré sous caution.
Pero muchas preguntas siguen sin respuesta.
Sorry, I can't. You can't talk? You're not allowed to talk. I'm on probation, sir. I cannot give any interview, please. So sorry.
From his standpoint, from the daily interrogations that he faced during his 81-day detention, it wouldn't be so clear that he was being held for economic charges. The questions had much more to do with his activities online, his foreign connections, his documentary films, his organization of people for different causes. I think for him, it was a little bit of a shock to hear, really? They said it's about taxes because they weren't asking him about taxes for 81 days.
那个大约3点钟的时候啊，咚咚咚咚咚咚咚咚，
一阵就特别可怕的敲门声，很大。
什么鸡巴事儿？大夜里还他妈敲门，你知道？你知道？我就开始骂开了。你骂茶叶警察，那是你不能骂他，你知道？因为警察是很麻烦的。
谁呀？警察？什么警察？派出所警察。派出所警察晚上敲门干嘛？检查。
What he's fighting for is really freedom of expression and transparency, and I think trying to find new ways to communicate and to push for whatever change you want to see in your own society. And for him, it's China, but for different audience members, it will be different places and different issues. And I think that the idea that artists and culture really play a big role, or can play a big role, in how we see our society and how we hope to, push it forward in new ways.
警察是把这个门是踹下来的，新的小兄弟他要表现自己，就出去打了这个艾薇薇的一拳。
啊！我不干嘛？你打人是吧？出来！
谁看见了？
做警察这样做吗？
打你哪儿了？伤在哪儿？
你不打人，我一样会这样吗？
自己撕的。
啊，我自己撕的，我自己打的自己。
对，我只能这样跟你解释，因为我没有看见任何人打你。
7998，我记着你。
对。
然后他问你一下，我们扣我们的5个人放哪去？
我是在那
帮我问一下，好吧？
确实也可能我也问不到，因为我确实也属于是。
他们被扣押到哪儿了？
也不叫扣押，我也不晓得。
不，这人被你们带走的，你不能说你不晓得在哪儿，对吧？
这个西南方面了。
His blogging, until it was shut down in 2009 by the government, and his tweeting is done almost exclusively in Chinese, which I think tells you something about the purpose of why he's doing that. He's really trying to engage a domestic audience in conversations about art and politics and current events, and just really, again, trying to draw people out to be in conversation and to use their voice. And I think in the film, part of why I wanted to show his biography and some of the earlier works and activities that he was involved in, you really see that documenting and, you know, he took so many photographs over the last few decades. He made underground books, he curated underground shows. All of this is trying to bring, you know, movements or the vanguard that's underground, trying to bring people together and to have more conversation, to publicize different people's works and ideas. And I think when he started to use the internet, that's why it excited him. It was like giving him a much more potent kind of tool to achieve things that he'd been working on and caring about already for many years. Freedom of expression kind of starts with, I think, with your own individual courage and your willingness to use your voice, and that's the first step. You know, censorship often starts with self-censorship, and I think to overcome that as a first step, and you see through Wei Wei and so many of the volunteers and colleagues and friends and peers and assistants that are with him, you see that that is happening in China today, and I think that that should be an inspiration for people all over.